If this thing is really a what are people at Ripple doing? Saying about this new updated standard, there is a lot for the banking system to tweets about what people are saying. People don't care about it at all. Saying that this will be the new version of Usher in XRP as the cryptocurrency to dominate our financial system. I'm going to tell you guys where I stand on something that issue and really break it down. It's not hard to see why I also want to talk about one of the most outrageous things you've ever heard. I've seen tweets about the SEC since I started writing about what was going on. We actually just got the Ripple SEC case. A member gave me some insider information of the SEC's enforcement division. Are sure to stay around for that. This is something you will not want to do. Miss, as always, your help means so. I'm trying to get much to this channel, to 50K subscribers, so make sure you like this video and follow the channel. It's going to help me so much. If you need a good place to buy XRP or the Flare token, make sure you uphold is one of my favorites. Down in this video's description. Having said that, let's get right to it. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I want to start this video with some content, so out and talk about ISO 20022, and I did first. I'd like to show you a video that, believe it or not, is really, I think it's edited and a fake, but still, it's a pretty good video. It will help you to understand how XRP and Ripple can work together. This new method for sending money, like I said, now all over the world. There are parts in this video that are, even though it's not real, it's still a good video, and it will just help you imagine where exactly how do you think the financial system is going? What happened and why you're not telling me? Are you no longer holding dollars? No, you're right. So there's the old way of doing banking, which says that you need to move every kind of currency, whether you have a Nostro account, that country's correspondent account, and you have to transfer or take money out of credit a particular account in that country, which means you have a lot of relationship types in different governments. What we've done with the use of cryptocurrencies and Ripple and XRP in particular is to be able to look at the levels of liquidity for each of those certain currencies and only have one of them. We need to switch to a different currency. I used to work with Swift. I'll change it to 20 years so that Swift is the music that is currently system for sending messages for the part of the economy that deals with safe, what we're looking for in payments, FX trade. The cryptography is where Swift really shines. Would have a system to store and send for most of its transactions with money, and service level agreements are needed. I'll do something by a certain time. Something the money shows up at a certain time of the day. Here, we're going to look at the new network styles that can be used in real-time movement of money and a clear view of these funds as well. And I think we're also seeing that Swift is changing their ability to connect to the internet so that real-time will be an option because as well, but Ripple XRP may also come out. Going across the Swift network as a currency when we might be spending something like FX. That is so funny. That guy actually did work for Swift and actually did make that remark at the end where he said we might be one day seeing XRP move across the Swift network. The parts of this video that were changed, it was really just him showing why XRP would be a good thing to the system, and that is why I think the guy can still use that clip. Actually worked for Swift, and he did say that one day we'd be able to. XRP being used to move money for Swift's part was the only one that was changed. And that video was to help explain just why Swift would be using. So I want to move on. Talk about how ISO 20022 fits into the picture here, and I'm actually want to go by what Bob said. Then he was a former member of Ripple, so that means we know that anything he says or does is probably pretty accurate, he said. I can give a lot of insight here, for sure. He says, I'm sure when talking about ISO 20022, a lot has changed, but just for ISO 20022 is much bigger than you are. At first, you might think it replaces the earlier Swift standards. MT and MX adds a lot of new things, so I'm not trying to hide anything. Not sure what MT and MX stand for. Basically, this is what Bob Way is saying. Is ISO 20022 going to be a new version of Swift standards, and it's going to be update the rules for the whole banking industry that will make it possible them to use the most recent technology, basically, for all the banks to work all over the world to communicate. Need to make sure they're using the same words. Standards: if every bank in the world, all people from all over the world who wanted to talk each other were using a different standard, it would have to be a nightmare trying to talk to all of them. What do these different banks mainly do? ISO 20022 is very simple to understand. Way to understand is that it's just an updated standard that will let new technologies so that they can be used. And what we know about our banking system is that Ripple and XRP are both types of technologies. We'll be able to meet this new standard. So basically, this is what is happening. A new standard is making it possible for systems like Ripple and the XRP ledger to be used. With our current banking system as it is now, they don't fit into the standard, and because of this it makes adoption harder. But once when the upgrade is finished, it will let banks will start to use the tech at a faster rate. What does this mean? That XRP will be the only currency used, the new digital currency used in this standard. What does this say about Ripple? Going to be the only tech company in the world used in this new ISO 20022 world numbering system? Of course not, but this will open the door for more people to use that system. I am sure of one thing: Ripple and XRP are two of the best ways to pay tech out there, and I think that once the regulatory walls start to fall down, if it goes down, it will make room for this new and improved payment method to start quickly growing our banking business system. In the end, I believe this is Bob Way said it was going to be big, adopting technologies like the XRP ledger, but I hope this is just a better idea of how this works. Everything about Ripple and XRP fits together. Going to be part of the solution, and how ISO 20022 opens a lot of doors for use these new technologies. And so, I want to talk about the banking system. I've just been made aware of something by Library, and I think this is pretty strange. I couldn't believe it when it happened. I wasn't sure at first, but I think this is going to give you a better answer. Understanding of what's happening inside of the SEC, and this information is almost priceless. Want to make it known? Library put this on their Twitter literally to make sure the SEC got to see it. Library knows that the SEC is the even brought up certain Library tweets ongoing case, so when I learn about the SEC through this, officials who have been in court against these companies that deal in cryptocurrency are going to read everything you write to see. So the Library tweeted, since there were so SEC officials follow this account, we'd like to remind you that you're morally responsible for each of the choices you make when you go out and kill and hurt innocent people, God, because they won't care that you did it. Your boss told you to do it, and I want to read you this thread of tweets because it is quite strange. It's from the crypto tax guy with a group of people on vacation, some of whom were from the SEC's Enforcement Crypto Unit. I asked her if she couldn't name a single cryptocurrency. Shiba's answer wasn't a good one. Knew for what it's worth, that might not be an unreasonable answer. What is the meaning of this person admitted that security is broad, that in a lot of or most cases compliance is just not possible for crypto assets, but she doesn't have to change that only to follow the law as it is. Clearly, there is a lot to break down here. But let's start with the top, and one of the most shocking things on RIP is the fact that a member of the unit said that the only cryptocurrency they could think of, Shiba Inu, wasn't as secure as that. We actually have a theory about this. Been a lot of talk on this channel. If you ask me, these SEC officials are just lazy. If you don't go into the SEC, you can hide from them. Talk to them, they assume there's nothing wrong. One behind the project, and it must not be a guarantee for these people. Wrap their heads around the fact that each and every cryptocurrency was created by every single cryptocurrency was created by made by a team of programmers, but they just assume that if these things happen, people hide, so this must not be true. Is the main reason why the SEC do not think that Bitcoin is a security. Claim they cannot find the people who. How is it usually done in the what's a security for the US, and how is the SEC making that clear? Standard anyone who can hide from us best. It's totally crazy and doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense and has nothing to do with securities laws being the standard for what is and is not a security, and the who can't be the center of the United States. Hides from the SEC as well as it can. Embarrassing that this happened. Their answer to the question, what isn't a security? It just shows how much they know. The people we have to deal with here are people are stupid if they do think the Shiba Inu is the only there's cryptocurrency out there that wouldn't qualify as a security, and if anything this doesn't prove much at all. As a security, the cryptocurrency industry though, let's move on because there are two first. Here are some other pretty shocking things. All they will admit is that compliance is not an issue for most crypto assets. Possible now that Gary Gensler is running around saying, you just come in and sign up, it's not that difficult. The SEC is where we're learning right now. Themselves knows that doing this is impossible, and funny enough a pretty controversial topic, right? Now the cryptocurrency business keeps growing. Putting it out there and saying, we've trying to register, but SEC won't let us. The SEC always comes back and says they are not really trying to sign up. They only say that, but it's not true. Putting in a lot of work to do what we're learning about the SEC right here is knows she can't be registered. And they are just coming out and saying that in order to try to place the blame on industry, and I want to hit on this last point since this one actually does make a little sense right here, and this is exactly something that I have heard from other SEC Enforcement Division members. It says she is not supposed to change the rules. Just follow the law as it is. Not really the SEC's fault, not necessarily. You can say that think the SEC shouldn't be doing laws as they are, but in the end, at the end of the day, they don't make the laws. Don't change the law, and it's actually good that they know they shouldn't to do that, because if the SEC could just change the rules themselves whim, we have a lot more problems. So, yes, this is right, it's not their job to change the law. Congress is in charge of making laws. Problem is, most of us think that the SEC is a scam. Should probably remain low, or at least until the laws are changed, only go after scams. Clear that the SEC isn't the problem. Enforcement of the law or trying to investors, the question is, attacking the only projects that are legal and instead giving scams a free pass like FTX. So all in all, this situation is, I think it shows that it was just very shocking. You were kind of people we're working with. For them to say, oh, if you don't want to be a security risk, here's how to a Shiba Inu meme token and then hide. From us in the end, there's a lot to learn. Some people think that the SEC is trying to stop the business, and I don't think there's a lot of evidence for that, but things like this, and sometimes you just have to wonder, are these people just too stupid to know what's going on here anyway? Guys, thank you very much for coming. I hope this news was interesting to you. You did remember to like and subscribe, right? It really does mean so much, and make a loud